And welcome to this little series of your core companion. I'm Leslie. So I've taught barre for a long time, and I still see in so many classes very compromised body positions. Now, for someone who has a very long femur and has pretty crappy knees, one knee replacement, now this knee is kind of going too, there are body positions that are done in barre that are very dysfunctional on the knees and or the low back. One being, and we see this position all the time, is pulling the knees forward, going up on your toes and being here. When in life do you ever do that? Never. I always hear, I want and I need stronger glutes. Well, when you are in basically in hip flexion, and I'm here, getting your glutes to switch on is going to be almost impossible. And this is a lot of low back. When you look at hip extension, and I'm not squeezing the ball, by the way, when we are in this position here, your glutes and hamstrings are active. Matter of fact, I invite you to be here and then let go. And notice that if you were in that opposite position, you would fall over backwards. Because first of all, it's not a position we ever move in. Being here and going into my squat here is allowing me to authentically lengthen my glutes versus shortening them. Even if you want to go into this position and then come up to lifting your heels and known as a releve, and then working back down and working through articulation of your feet is certainly not a bad thing. But once again, the whole business of tucking the pelvis under is a natural place that we could possibly put our body in. So I'm not a fan of that. I also have no filter. Now, moving into a lunge, placing the ball here, and now I'm still in my neutral spine. So if I ask you to slide forward and back, and I could have a gliding disc underneath my foot, even when I let go and I move back and forth here, I'm still working into this glute and hamstring because I'm basically in spine extension. Now, this hip, okay, is being active. The gluteus is getting active here because this hip is extended. Even though this one is flexed by hinging forward, because the minute we go more upright and we set back, we're going to feel a lot more hip flexor lengthening, but we're going to feel more quad. So if my goal was to work more quadricep, I'm going to be more upright and take my attention into my quad. If I'm looking for more glute and hamstring, maybe an underhand grip here as I press forward and back, now I'm really going to feel that glute and hamstring switch on. So our body alignment at the barre, a lot of the pulsing, tucking, and squeezing is compromising our joints. So if you're looking for a more functional approach to barre, think of the concept of lengthening versus shortening. Same thing, even in, for example, a curtsy lunge, if I'm going to cross back, the more upright I am and I'm pulsing, woo, feel the burn. I'm feeling the burn in my knee, all right. But by hinging forward and reaching away and being here, now I'm going to feel work in my glute here big time. And if I'm looking for more choreography, then I can toe tap out to the side bend into the barre, cross here, place the ball. And even if you want to work on more of a balance move by abducting the leg to the side and crossing under. A lot of times we feel, for example, that we have to be in agonizing pain and burning to get results, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So once again, by placing the ball here and having good alignment, think of not squeezing the ball. Don't that whole squeezing. We want to get away from that. We want to get away from what is functional for my body. And by having a light engagement of my inner thighs, as I start to move into my squat, what does this look like to you? Sitting down in a chair, sitting down on the toilet, all those different moves we do every day, day in and day out. And if I say be here, woo, squeeze and tuck and tighten, then it's going to compromise what I need to do in daily activity. And it starts to restrict motion even in my shoulders. So this is just, think of what things you do day in and day out. And if you're a bar instructor, apply it to what you're doing in your bar classes and get away from all the pulsing and the tucking and the tightening and think of, wow, how can I move my body in and out? And this is where we can create some really fun choreography. We can work on balance work here. All these different things, right, allows us to be more functional as human beings. So this is just a little tip. This is Leslee, your core companion, on a functional approach to a couple exercises that are typically done in bar classes.